Now at 6 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, a major board meeting for Victoria ISD comes early in the new year. A deal that would save money for Victoria travelers is about to end, and you'll meet the newest resident of Victoria.
Well, congratulations. It's 2026, 1st of January, 2nd of January. We're likely to have record-breaking heat into the mid-80s. We'll talk more about that coming up in a moment.
And the Yoakum Bulldogs revealed their 2025 All-District Football Award. We'll highlight all these top honors later on in sport.
You're watching 25 News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us and Happy New Year. I'm Don Brubaker. Shauna Curry is off tonight. As the new year begins, we look at some big stories this month. The Victoria ISD Board of Trustees has a special meeting planned for January 13th. They will take a closer look at a possible bond for the May 2026 ballot, one that could combine and renovate several elementary schools across the district. The Bond Action Committee is recommending a plan that would require at least a $200 million bond. Under that proposal, Torres Elementary would expand to take in students from O'Connor. Hopkins and Dudley would be consolidated with a new school built at one of those sites, and students from Shields would be reassigned to 4 different campuses, depending on the board's final plan. District leaders say the changes could save nearly $2 million a year and help modernize Victoria ISD campuses. The city of Cuero is sharing a draft set of goals, objectives, and actions for the city's new comprehensive plan, and they want residents' feedback. This is not a final document. These ideas are meant to start a conversation about Cuero's future, and residents' input will help refine and improve them. Cuero residents are asked to review the draft goals, objectives, take the short community survey, or share their thoughts in person at the public hearing during the City Council meeting January 12th at 5 p.m. at Cuero City Hall. Law enforcement and first responders plan to move into the new Victoria Public Safety Headquarters this month. Officials say they're expecting a move-in after the holidays. The move-in process will take place in phases as staff and operations are gradually moved into the new space. A formal opening ceremony will be held at the end of this process. They were first expected to be fully moved in last August. That will be the new headquarters for Victoria Police, Fire, Municipal Courts, and 911 services. The building is on Main Street near Airline Road. There is still time to take advantage of Victoria Regional Airport's reimbursement promotion. The promotion applies to all round-trip tickets completed between Victoria and Houston, now through January 6th. Travelers can get a $100 reimbursement on their tickets. To qualify, travelers must provide proof of residency in the City of Victoria or Victoria County. The new year began with a special delivery at Citizens Medical Center as the hospital welcomed Victoria's first baby born in 2026. Sienna Moselle Garcia was born at 8:15 on New Year's Day morning to proud parents Kristen Haynes and Brandon Garcia. Sienna weighed 8 pounds 1 ounce and measured 20 inches long at birth. Sienna's arrival brought excitement to her growing family, including her 2 siblings, brother Carson and sister Riley. Let's go to Mac Perez with a first look at the forecast. Mac's first look at the forecast for 2026. Mac, it's supposed to be shivering and cold in January, and what is this?
Yeah, it's not January, that's for sure. It feels more like August, folks. Get a load of this. Tomorrow's high temperature, Friday, 85 degrees. That is, 3 degrees above our old record. Okay, so this was set back in 06, so we're above records now, and for most of the week we're going to be staying at or around 80 degrees, so who needs a winter coat around here? We won't need it for 10 days. We'll talk more about your weather and what to expect for the weekend coming up in a moment. Stay tuned. Don, back to you.
Mac, thank you. 2 major moves the Texas legislature made last year will affect millions of Texans this year. Texas Republicans approved legislation establishing a $1 billion school choice program that will provide funding for up to 100,000 students to attend private schools. If demand exceeds the current budget, students from low-income families will receive priority. Applications for families interested in taking part in the program will be accepted starting next month. On July 9th of last year, Governor Greg Abbott added congressional redistricting to the agenda for an upcoming special session, sparking a wave of similar efforts across the country as the GOP aims to retain control of the U.S. House during this year's midterm elections. The new map was signed into law on August 29th and immediately challenged in court. Last month, the U.S. Supreme Court stayed a lower court ruling that had blocked the map from taking effect. If you see news happening, call our newsroom at 361-576-0026 or send us an email at staff@crossroadstoday.com. It's a tradition on the first day of a new year to look back. Well, in this case, veteran journalist Bill Clough takes us back a century.
Take a good look at that hourglass. The sand is flowing up instead of down. Time to turn back, look back 100 years to 1926. 1926, or MMXXVII in Roman numerals, is the Chinese year of the fire horse. Lots of firsts in 1926. In February, contract airmail service begins. A month later, New York makes its first phone call to London. 3 days later, comedian Jerry Lewis is born. In mid-March, Robert Goddard launches his first liquid-fueled rocket. Engineers panic, saying it will never catch on. 18 days later, astronaut Gus Grissom, well acquainted with liquid-fueled rockets, is born. 3 days later, the Book of the Month Club is launched. Next day, Benito Mussolini survives an assassination attempt. He will survive another in October. On April 21st, Queen Elizabeth II is born. On May 9th, Richard Beard claims he made the first flight over the North Pole. Later research indicates he turned back 150 miles short. 3 days later, Norwegian Roald Amundsen flies over the North Pole in an airship, the Norge. 8 days later, Thomas Edison says Americans prefer silent movies over talkies. On June 1st, Andy Griffith is born. So is Marilyn Monroe. 27 days later, so is Mel Brooks. On July 2nd, the Army establishes the U.S. Army Air Corps. On August 3rd, Tony Bennett is born. 10 days later, so is Fidel Castro. 5 days later, the airport at Arlington, Virginia, transmits a weather map to the U.S. Weather Bureau office in Washington, D.C., first of its kind. A month later, carmaker Henry Ford adopts the 40-hour work week, 5 days, 8 hours. The same day, the League of Nations bans slavery. On November 11th, Congress established the numbered highway system. 4 days later marks the publication of the Balfour Declaration that supported the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. On December 26th, half a world away, Hirohito becomes the Emperor of Japan. 100 years passed, but somehow it doesn't feel that long ago. Happy New Year, everyone.
Thank you, Bill, and remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell, then you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. And stay with us, coming up on 25 News now at 6. New Orleans marks 1 year since a deadly terrorist attack there. Also ahead, find out how much confetti had to be picked up after New Year's Eve on Times Square. Today marks the one-year anniversary of the deadly Bourbon Street terror attack that left 14 people dead and more than 50 others injured. It was in the early hours of New Year's Day when a truck plowed through crowds celebrating the start of 2025 in New Orleans' French Quarter. The suspect was shot and killed by 3 New Orleans police officers. Since then, a memorial honoring those 14 souls includes crosses bearing the names of each victim, pictures, and other items honoring their lives. The U.S. Coast Guard rescued 2 people, a cat and a dog, off the coast of Cape Hatteras, North Carolina this week. As Will Thomas reports, the helicopter rescue was caught on camera.
This video shows the special moment that 2 people, their dog and cat, stepped out of the helicopter after being rescued by the U.S. Coast Guard on Tuesday.
Yeah, it was my first dog and my first cat. I'm stoked to get him on the same case here, so it was awesome.
James Butts has been a rescue swimmer for 4 years, but Tuesday's rescue was a first-time experience for him. 2 passengers saved, along with their cat and dog.
I think it's a rite of passage for every rescue swimmer to be able to get some pets.
James was part of the 4-person Coast Guard helicopter crew that was paged out early Tuesday morning by the passengers of a 40-foot catamaran in distress about 65 miles off Cape Hatteras.
It was about 30 to 40 mile an hour winds. It was about 10 to 15 foot seas.
Once they got on scene, James hopped in the water, swam to the boat where 2 people, their cat and dog, were waiting for him.
We elected to have the first survivor take the cat with them. So we ended up putting the cat in a dry bag to keep it safe. And then after that, I swam back to the boat and the second survivor was ready to go. And this one had a dog. So again, they were really well prepared. The dog had flotation as well. So it made our job super easy.
A team effort that makes a rescue like this possible. James in the water, the pilots keeping the helicopter steady, and a flight mechanic lowering and bringing everyone back into the helicopter.
It's a team effort, and it's why we train so hard all the time.
James also credits the people on the boat for being prepared to call for help, using an emergency positioning indicator radio beacon on board.
Having a working EPIRB like these people did, having proper flotation is very key to safety.
For James and the crew, an unforgettable experience being able to answer a call on this day and every day.
We do it for a reason. It gives us purpose. So yeah, to be able to go down and those, in their worst times, I couldn't ask for anything more. I'm glad they get to spend New Year's dry and safe. So yeah, it's a great way to ring in the new year.
Consumer Supply Distributing is recalling some of its dog biscuits because they may be contaminated with salmonella. The recall applies to its Country Vet Biscuits original meaty flavor and its Heartland Harvest dog biscuits meaty flavor with chicken. They are both sold in 4-pound bags and have an expiration date of September 6th, 2026. The treats were sold in stores in Texas and 6 other states. The FDA says no illnesses have been reported. Consumers should return the products to the store for a full refund. To get more news, weather, and sports, come to our website, crossroadstoday.com. A Rhode Island driver found herself in a precarious situation earlier this week after her car fell into a sinkhole. She had to be pulled out through the trunk. Crews were working on a faulty water main in the area. Devin Bates spoke with the woman about her ordeal.
My front wheel go down like that. I seem like my car goes slow.
Video from nearby neighbors shows the aftermath of Rexmay Cowcow's SUV taking an unexpected deep dive into a sinkhole. As it opened up beneath her, she says it was a terrifying moment to be behind the wheel.
I saw the water run, but not too heavy. I see like slightly water, and I think it's okay because they fix all day. So I slightly turn left, slow, very slow, and then just crack.
Fortunately, she's doing about as well as one could after such a wild ordeal, a bit sore and shaken up.
Shaking. Even in the hospital, all my body shaking.
So they checked you all out there?
Cranston Mayor Ken Hopkins paid a follow-up visit to Rexmay and her husband this morning. He was also on the scene last night after she was assisted out of her SUV.
In this time of year, you get the cold and the freezing, and I don't know why it broke, but that's something Providence Water's going to have to explain.
Rexmay says she's doing better and seems hopeful 2026 can't get much worse than falling into a sinkhole.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. 2026 will be better.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
The sinkhole has since been repaired. Cleanup efforts are underway in Times Square after nearly 3,000 pounds of brightly colored paper fell in Times Square at midnight. Someone's got to clean it up. The men and women of the New York Sanitation Department went straight to work after the crowd of nearly 1 million moved out of the crossroads of the world. An early morning snow squall made the cleanup even more difficult. A little wet weather did not stop people from attending this year's Tournament of Roses parade. This was the 137th year for the annual New Year's Day tradition in Pasadena, California. The rain did subside briefly before coming down again at the end of the parade. The last time it rained on the parade was in 2006.
The Pasadena parade has a deal with somebody because usually it doesn't. They always say we always get the sunny weather, even though it can be cold, but they did get the sogginess this year. 69 degrees for us, another nice day. We're looking for temperatures tomorrow to be even warmer. Today's high temperature was at 77 after a rather chilly start to the 35 that was this morning. Temperatures are going to be in the record-breaking categories. Now there is in about 7 days a chance for rain. We'll try and see if we can get that through here. We'll talk about it coming up after this. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Well, you might have noticed that we did get a deck of clouds that came through our area, but this is high-level cloud cover and really nothing that will actually give us some rain. The curious part about it, to me, is that this is actually part of the rainstorm that came through California just early this morning. You can see how the deck of clouds streaming over our area coming at us from the west. Well, it gave us the cloud cover, but that's about it. What it's going to give us tomorrow is a bit of a southwest wind, and that's the reason we're looking at a record-breaking high temperature tomorrow of about 85 degrees. It's hard to believe, but tomorrow, the Friday, if many of you are still off, I'd go to the beach, I'd go fishing, I'd get in the boat. It's going to be almost summer-like out there. Very unusual developments along the west coast. What we have is a very broad area of low pressure spinning around like this. This is a classic El Nino pattern. Now, why do I say that? Because we were supposed to go into a La Nina. So let me try and explain that. El Nino means that the Pacific Ocean is warmer than normal. 3, 5, maybe even as much as 8 degrees above normal. You think, what's the big deal? Well, it actually allows these storms, these lows, to come across, pick up heat, pick up moisture, and then slam into the west coast with a lot of precipitation. That's a good sign for us because eventually we're going to get some of that. In the short term, though, this is staying out there for another 3 or 4 days before it starts to move. And so we do have a chance in about 7 days of getting something. Otherwise, tomorrow morning, the big news is that we've got some fog to deal with. If you're getting up at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, you'll be dealing with that. But then by 7 or 8 o'clock, it should burn off and it should be a little bit better. Here's another shot of the West Coast. Notice that the rain is now in southern New Mexico, almost to El Paso. So this is all part of that big, broad thing. Now, I know what you're looking at here is radar echoes, and you have to be on land to get the radar echoes. We don't have a lot of radar echoes in the ocean. There's no place to put them. So the storm is actually, part of it is out here, and it's this broad and this large. It's almost a pattern change where the eastern side of the country is going to be dry and mild. The western side is going to be very wet and fairly cold because of these continuation of storms. Here is the center of it. You can see how their storms are, one's moving ashore, there's another one organizing right about there. Lots of this activity is going to be interesting. Next 5 days, this is the weather pattern, and eventually we're going to get something coming at us from the southwest, and probably in about 5 to 7 days. I know we'll forget about it then, but at this time, that's what I'm looking for, because look at this. Okay, so if you're off tomorrow, it's going to be summer-like, 85 the high. That compares to 82, is the old record high temperature set back in '06. So we're going to be at record-breaking temperatures. As you can see, all the storminess is out on the west coast. We're under high pressure. We're under high pressure all the way through, and it's not really till about Wednesday when some of that moisture finally gets across the Rockies and into our area. So let's take a look at your day planner. Port Lavaca getting up to 80 degrees tomorrow. Yeah, looking good. I'd go to the beach if I were you. 87 in Cuero. And then a little front comes in on Saturday for a cooling down on Sunday, and then maybe Wednesday of next week we get a shot at getting some of that west coast rain. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. If you scan that with your phone, you can put Crossroads Today on your cell phone. Don, we'll toss it over to you.
Thank you, Mac. Sports director Max Williams has torn himself away from watching the bowl games and the college football playoff to talk about some high school hoops.
Yeah, Don, it was a little bit rough there yesterday for my Ohio State Buckeyes, but hey, a little bit recovered now and have a chance, like you said, to talk about some high school basketball at the Battle of Victoria with girls and boys basketball there tomorrow night. We'll hear from Victoria's boys team next in Sports. Happy New Year's, everyone, and can't wait to highlight sports in the 2026 calendar year with you guys. And I bet most of you are probably just done watching the Rose Bowl game there with Indiana getting the big-time victory and moving on to face Oregon there in the Peach Bowl coming up. But after that, though, we're going to have a chance to look at the Texas Tech Red Raiders. How would they do there against the Ducks? I mentioned, like I said, Oregon got the victory because for Texas Tech, they couldn't really get the offense going most of the way. For the quarterback for the Red Raiders, Baron Morton, only threw for 137 yards, 18 of 32 passing, and 2 interceptions. That's just not going to get it done, especially against an Oregon team that got their freshman running back in Jordan Davison having 2 rushing touchdowns to repel the Ducks versus the Red Raiders. And again, for Texas Tech, what a great year. Still won a Big 12 title and 12-2 overall this year for the Red Raiders. Now over to Yoakum football, but on the high school, like I said, high school level, they were last year's 3 Division I state champions. And again, they announced their full all-district awards from this past year. Some of the top honors went to district MVP Xavier Barnett, offensive MVP to Jace Morales. Shout out to the all-district kicker as well, and Alexis Hernandez, and newcomer of the year to running back Jamarcus Robinson. Then the first team honors went to linebacker Colby Drenson, defensive lineman Giovanni Gutierrez, and then Kason Gomez, Brenton Jacob, Brady Jacob, Elias Garcia, Joey Rodriguez, Jordan Johnson, Kanan Jacobs, and Keenan Dilworth. And shout out to offensive lineman Oliver Ortiz. So those are all the first team honors. If you want to see all the second team and all the rest of the honors for Yoakum, just check out the web article that will be posted later on crosswordstoday.com/sports. Now we're to Victoria East boys basketball, who tomorrow night will be battling Victoria West in the Battle of Victoria for the first district game of the year for both of these teams. And East heads in this matchup at 9-12 overall, while West goes in at 8-10. And both these teams just came off playing the Mike Smith Classic, where they got some experience, kind of went up and down that tournament the rest of the way. So for East, they're hoping their defensive dominance that they can kind of bring to this game, get a big-time victory versus West tomorrow night.
I feel like everything's going good. We had a rough start from the year, but we're picking everything up and starting off district good. We're just getting our defense down, getting everything down for them, because we already know what they're going to come out in, so we just got to come ready and play.
Really just being coachable and knowing our job, knowing our responsibilities, each doing our own part, and just bringing it together and playing tough, playing hard at the end of the day. But at the end of the day, you know, it's a basketball game. We're just going to come out, play hard, whoever wants it more, and it's going to be a good game.
Now the boys game will be at Victoria East High School starting at 6:30 p.m. And then the girls team, they're also battling each other, West and East Star. That's going to be at West High School. And that game will start at 5:30 p.m. Over to NBA basketball, where currently the Houston Rockets are battling the Brooklyn Nets out there in Brooklyn. And right now they're up 53-42. And see if the Rockets can hold on to big-time New Year's Day victory. We'll have the final score update for you guys for 25 News Now Sports at 10 p.m. And finally, the Houston Astros agreed to a 3-year, $54 million deal to sign Japanese right-handed pitcher Tutsaya Amaya. Sorry if I got that name there correctly there. Shout out there for the rest of the way. This deal will make Tsui earn $3 million in incentives if he throws 100 innings in 2026. So he's got a big-time goal. See if he can get some extra money with that. So he's also was a 3-time All-Star in the Nippon Professional Baseball Club in Japan. He looks to help that rotation for the Astros starting up in March. And that's going to do it here in sports. Don, back to you.
Thank you, Max, and we're back in a moment. Some visitors at a Houston museum pigged out on food, but that was the whole plan. And finally tonight, a gingerbread city in Houston was eaten up by some rescue pigs. The display was at a museum featuring 570 gingerbread houses. The artist says he spends an entire year drafting, designing, baking, planning, building, and decorating his creations, which are unveiled annually in cities around the country. Members of the public were invited to take pieces of the display home free of charge. Then, pigs from the Houston Mini Pig Rescue and Farm Sanctuary were brought in to chow down. Yes.
Wow.
Beats throwing it away.
There's one way, for,
Yeah, there you go. Well, if the pigs had any New Year's resolutions to stop, they blew that right there.
I don't think they worried about diet too much, but
No.
at least they're having a clean up.
Yeah.
Yes. We're cleaning up on the weather here.
Well,
My goodness,
it's
I can't
really
believe this.
it's really lovely. You know, but I call it a beautiful disaster. You know, I mean, here we are tomorrow looking at record-breaking temperatures, about 85 the high. No real rain in sight till about middle of next week. So we'll. Gee, Don, we'll just have to enjoy the sunny skies and the mild temperatures, hovering near 80 degrees.
I like that.
I'm still trying to figure out beautiful disaster.
Well, it's lovely, but it's not seasonal. It's way off the track.
Yep.
So I
true.
call it a beautiful disaster.
Interesting. All right. Thank you, Max. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tonight, 25 News Now.